Losing weight taught me a lot about human nature, the way people treat you, and the way that people think about you, but just don't really say anything. So, one of the biggest things that happened was I lost all of this weight. I lost 100 pounds, but nobody told me when I was bigger, you know what, man, like, you don't need to be this big. Like, you should probably make some changes. But you lose some weight, you start looking better, you start filling out t-shirts a little bit better, you start feeling good about yourself, you start looking good. And people come up to you and say, you know what, Luke, like, dude, you had a crazy transformation. Man, you're a pretty big guy, man. You lost a lot of weight. You're a pretty big guy. The thing is, like, if somebody told me that when I was that big, when I was playing college football, that, you know what, Luke, like, you're pretty damn big. You don't have to be this big to play the sport. You can lose about 20, 30 pounds easy. You could probably play better. Man, if somebody told me back then, I probably would have made the changes. And what it tells me is that when you lose the weight, the real people's opinions, their real opinions start to come out of, man, they thought I was big the entire time. They thought I was a really big guy the entire time, but they never said anything about it to me. And this is the thing, like, people will always keep their truest opinions about you hidden unless it furthers your opinion of them. Think about this. If you're really big, what does somebody have to gain from telling you you are big? But if you look really good, what does somebody have to tell you about you looking really good? If you look really good, somebody tells you that, you probably like them a little bit for it. But if you're really big and somebody tells you, you know what, man, it's time for you to lose some weight, you probably think a little bit less of them, even though it should work the other way around, where you should feel better about them telling you what you actually needed to hear. So that's the first thing there is, man, people, they don't actually tell you what they're really thinking. Nobody comes up to you when you're big and says you need to lose weight. Your partner will never tell you you need to lose weight. Your friends will never tell you, you know what, man, like, you're really big, we're worried about you. But as soon as you start losing the weight, they will come out and they'll say, man, you were really big. We were worried about you. We were so worried about you. We're so glad you made these changes. They'll just never say that to you when you're in the moment, when you actually need to hear it. The second thing that I learned is really about how we idolize people who are in shape. When I was about 300 pounds, 320 pounds, and I always grew up as the fat kid, so even when I was like 12 years old and I was about 230 pounds, 240 pounds, I still did this. But when I was around 300 pounds, I would always idolize these people who were in fantastic shape. Whether I saw them on social media, I wanted to be like them because I knew, like, dude, if you look like that, you must feel amazing physically and mentally about yourself. Man, like, there's just something special about those type of people. I realize now, like, there was literally nothing special about the people who are in elite shape, who have made elite transformations. There's nothing special about it. Because at the end of the day, I've done it. And I don't view myself as special in the slightest. I think when you are on the other side of doing something really big and you know the changes you need to make, it feels like somebody is special because they've done the things that you think you should do. And I think that's what's tough about it, is because you think that they have some special quality that makes it okay for them to be super locked in, to lose all this weight, to be in elite physical shape, to like the way that they look. You think that the difference between somebody who has that and you is some special quality, but it's really not. I think we always idolize the people who have what we want because I always thought that they had a special trait, but it's really not. It really just comes down to, are you willing to do what it takes? Like, at the end of the day, are you really willing to sacrifice the life that you're living now to live the life that you want? And I think that's really the special quality, if there even is one, is the amount of sacrifice you're willing to undergo for a transformation like this. I don't think you can ever lose any amount of significant weight. I don't think you can ever have a significant transformation without a large amount of sacrifice. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing, to be honest with you guys. I sacrificed the way that I used to live, and I couldn't be happier about that. Like, I would do that 10 times over, because the way that I was living before, where I would come home after work, I'd eat whatever, and then I'd binge eat late at night, man, that made me feel terrible physically. I slept terrible after that. Woke up feeling like I got hit by a freight train. Made me feel terrible mentally. So I'm so happy that I sacrificed that. But in the moment, and this is what I really learned here, is it feels like a terrible sacrifice. Because all of those things that really give you that immediate dopamine, that immediate pleasure, you've sacrificed that in the moment and you're left with nothing. There's about a 2 to 3 month lagging period where it really starts to suck. and when it really starts to get good at the end of that. And I think that's what's really taught me is like, the more that you can delay your gratification, the more you can really sacrifice the old way that you're living and form this new lifestyle, form these new habits, man, that determines your success all the way through. The next one is gonna be that people treat you wildly different when you're at different body weights. This is not to say that I ever felt crazy disrespected when I was 300 pounds, but when you do lose the weight, when you start to look good, you fill out a t-shirt, maybe you got a little bit of veins in your arms, man, like people hold the doors for you, people smile at you more, people are more friendly towards you. It's crazy, just the small little things, and you go through life and you think, you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have said that way. You wouldn't have smiled at me like that if I was bigger. It purely comes down to pretty privilege in this aspect. And shit, it's completely unconscious. Nobody wakes up and thinks, I'm gonna go slight fat people all day long. Like I'm gonna consciously treat fat people worse. But in reality, that's how it really does work out. People are so much nicer to you when you're down in weight. You get treated better, you get more opportunities, just slight things like opportunities at work. You feel like, maybe this is just a confidence thing as well, as you carry yourself different, but you go into job interviews, you feel like you have more confidence, you feel like you have a better chance. Man, life is truly different on the other side of losing all of that weight, both from a point of you feel better about yourself, so you carry yourself different, and from the way that people treat you as well. And what that taught me is that people really base a lot of their opinion off of your first impression, which is a lot of your looks, to be honest with you. Like if you meet somebody for the first time and you're sloppy, you're overweight, your gut's hanging out, you got the man boobs, the titties are showing, all of that, I mean, they're gonna think worse of you. And it's not a conscious thing, it's a sign of self-respect in that aspect. You respect somebody who respects themselves, and that shows up purely physically. Even before you meet somebody for the first time, if you think about it, you see somebody who's in elite physical shape in public, man, you probably have a little bit more respect for them. The last one is the craziest because people want to see you lose the weight, but they don't want to see you in better shape than them. You see, when I first started losing weight, everybody was so supportive. People were shooting me text messages, hitting me up, telling me, you know, Luke, like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm happy for you, bro. It's really good to see that you're taking control of your health, like all of this stuff, right? But then I got down to about 270. You know, I was still a pretty big dude. I'm about 6'4", so I carried it a little bit differently than most people would for my height. Then I got down to about 250, and I started noticing, not that it matters, but why am I getting less compliments at 250 than I was at 290? Then I got down to 230, and the only people who started complimenting me were like people I had never spoken to before when I showed them an old picture of myself. It made me realize, like, dude, people want to see you lose the weight. They do not want to see you doing better than them. And it purely comes down to, in my mind at least, it purely comes down to this aspect of, when you start losing the weight, it shows them that, like, damn, like, you know what, Luke's really taking control of his life. He's doing really good with the weight loss. When I started doing better than them, when you start doing better than other people, what it shows them is, I could do that too, but I'm not. And that's where that little bit of like unconscious dissatisfaction, that unconscious pulling away comes from into, is because when you start holding yourself to a higher standard than they do, when all they've ever seen you is be overweight, sloppy, fat, with man tits, and a big ass booty as a dude, when they see you start making changes, doing better than them, it shows them that they wasted all of that time making excuses while you were making progress. And I think that, honestly, like, I think that eats at you. Especially as a man, you got a little bit of ego about your physical health, about the way that you look. So when you see some dude who's been sloppy his entire life really start to make the changes, I think it hurts because it shows you could have done the same shit. But you didn't. You sat by the sidelines and you watched him while his whole head was in the game. He was working hard. Like, at a football analogy, he's working hard, he's putting drives together, he's scoring touchdowns, maybe he fucks up a little bit. Motherfucker, you're on the sidelines watching him do that. And I think when he starts winning, like truly winning, doing better than you, I think that hurts a little bit. And I think that's why we see people start to unconsciously just pull away a little bit when you start to do really, really good with your health, with your physique, with your weight, and with your looks. And I'll leave it with this, man. Life changes drastically when you lose the weight. You have to lose the weight. I show up differently in my work life. I have virtually no brain fog. Some days are a little tough and need an extra cup of coffee, but man, I just feel so much better on a daily basis. I wake up, I have energy. I have energy after work. I'm able to do whatever I want to do after work, show up with my girlfriend differently, take the dogs out for walks. Like, it's crazy just the amount of motivation, drive, energy, life you get to live. And this is like a little bit of my saying, but man, you transform your body and you start living energetically, that's the life that you want to live. And it's on the other side of you sacrificing the life you're living right now. So make the changes, get off the sidelines, and get your head in the damn game.